I think we are live. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Everything okay? Voice okay? How's the voice and the guitar? Can you hear me? Voice sounds okay. What's up, Matt? Noise Bloom, Zach, Vimps, Greg, Blue, Christiana, Abe, got Ben, got Coots, Zoots, Zach, Fretless Ed, Vim69, Bill, Ben, Ogre Lord, New Man, Wall to Wall, okay, so it says so, sounds okay, good. Sounds great, okay, good. What's up, speaker? Retro Puffer, got Pasquale, we got JHS. Got Yeti Matzi, Super Lead 100. Says it sounds good. Okay, good. Abe says it sounds great. I believe him. What's up, Richard? What's up, Noise Bloom? Funny ass guitar guy, R2, R3, Dennis Ellis, Rico B, Brown's Fan, Evil Jesus. What's up, Gary Davlin? How's it going, buddy? We got Renee and Fiesta and Wendell and Tactical. Got Steve, Nelson, I like the pickups in this guitar. I'm just saying, they sound really good. You know, say what you want about Paul Reed Smith, the guy knows how to design a friggin' pickup. It took a while. Some of those early ones were a little meh. But now, I think they all sound pretty damn good. Pretty good. What's up, J-Man? Strat CPO. R2, R3. Guitar is made, funny you say that, it actually is made of banana pudding. Can't believe how bright that looks on camera, damn. Almost needs like a little extra, can I, no, won't show? There it is, I knew it. It just won't show it where I want it to show it. All right, so how do I, if I'm here, and I just, yeah. You don't want to make it too dark. I want to bring out like those highlights right there. You see that? Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. And okay. Yeah, it's still a little bright on this camera, but if I darken it too much, the whole thing is going to look dark. This is really where I can sort of darken it up. Speaking of dark, those birds are dark, and they're smaller. They're small and they're dark. It's a little different design on this. I think to try to give them more vintage distinction. Is that Vince? No, you rock. Exactly. I'm just like if I was the guitar player in Bananarama. Come on. Of course. Ingve Strat Off-White. I think if you went to Fender and you wanted that color, they would call it Olympic White. And it might be a touch whiter, but it's going to be almost the same color. They probably altered it ever so slightly. It looks a little whiter than the canary yellow they used in the 60s Strat a couple years ago as a like a special. But it looks, I would say, darker just a hair than the true Olympic White. I had a Strat in Olympic White. It got stolen. I sold it on Reverb, and it got delivered. And then the next day I got a text from Josh at Reverb saying, "Hey, I've been assigned to help you out with that guitar." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, the seller said he never got it." I go, "I'm showing a delivery at this time." He said, "Yeah," he said, "someone intercepted it and he didn't get it." And I said, "Well, I did everything I needed to do." He says, No, you're all set." Olympic white changes to that color eventually. True that, Fretless said. What's up, Michael D? What's up, Tony? Kind of like an antique white. Yeah. They call it moon white. Moon white. Moon white. That's the only thing I could think of. It's so different than the other PRSs. Like, the cut is different, the neck is different, the bridge is different, the friggin' that they put this on the front is different. It is different from other PRSs. We'll just call it cream. Yeah, right? Is this a new edition? No, it's a loaner. It's a good sounding guitar. I've been liking it. The neck is definitely a little chunkier than the standard PRS SE, which is just a touch thinner. Almost the same thickness at like the half fret, but definitely thicker at the 12.5 fret. They measure at the half fret, halfway between 0 and 1. They do the first measurement, and then the second one at like halfway past the 12th fret. That's where they have their two measurement points. Sounds amazing. I like these pickups. I agree. I think they sound really good. Inch 3/4 nut. You know, I actually don't know the width of the nut. I'd have to look up that spec. It's more like the thickness on the neck. It's definitely a little bit more vintagey, without a doubt. It does sound good, huh? I feel like I'm a little out of tune though. Let me just double check this tuning. I didn't tune up before I came on here. Oh, I was running a little late. Yeah. There you go. That was it. Yep. I think it sounds good. I think it sounds good. I really do. Yeah, it's rosewood board. I haven't seen too many, and I don't know enough about the SE line, but I don't see a lot of PRSs with an alternate fretboard. It seems to be maple or rosewood. Oh. AI says 41 millimeter, and I trust AI. Real good steady tone, I agree. What's up, Numinator? What's up, Matt? Sounds good all the way out west. Wow, that's quite a distance. Greeting from North Wales. Good evening to you. What's up? You're up late. In my opinion on Pal Ferro boards, they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. I personally don't care for them, just because I'm not crazy about the lighter color. I do like the darker fretboard. Tonal wise, there's no distinguishable difference, quite frankly. And for a little while, Pal Ferro was actually kind of an exotic thing, only found on the Stevie Ray Vaughan signature guitar. It was like this weird, oh no, they don't use rosewood, they use Pal Ferro. It was like, whoa. But then Pal Ferro became a thing, and suddenly it was like, meh, whatever. I'm just not crazy about the coloring on it, and sometimes it can be actually quite grained, which I'm not crazy about either. You know, it's a little too much, but you know, to each their own. You know, it's just you're not going to hear a difference. It's just really a cosmetic thing. You know, does the number one question is, does that fretboard match my outfit? Is Pal Ferro ironwood? You know, it could be. That could be like the more sort of like generic name for it. Like Pal Ferro is the exotic name. You have a Charvel Pal Ferro that's pretty dark. Well, like anything natural, there's going to be a continuum, you know, between... I agree. Like, a lot of times you look at it like, oh, is that rosewood or is that Pal Ferro, right? Because it's either a lighter rosewood or a darker Pal Ferro. You know, at some point there's an overlap. What's up, Bingo Bango? Another from North Wales. Well, that's I think that's a quorum. You don't like Indian Laurel, Christopher? I don't know much about it other than it does seem to be found on some of the less expensive guitars. And I don't know if it is naturally that dark or if they dye it, but I do notice that Indian Laurel is all over the place, which is why it leads me to believe that some builders are dyeing it, right? What's up, Terry? Pale Moon Everything is pretty gorgeous stuff. Yeah. And like anything, almost like a any sort of streaky wood. It's all, you know, it's the luck of the draw, right? You have no idea what you're going to get until you see it. And it can be very distinctive. There can be some really amazing patterns. I think there's a difference between Indian Laurel and Rosewood. Probably not that you can hear. I think it's mostly a cosmetic thing, to be honest. That there's a certain grain to Rosewood. I think it feels like the grain on some of those Indian Laurels is a little tighter, because I think that's what's on the Jackson I have here. And that is definitely, I think, it looks closer to ebony, you know, without a doubt. a second here. Huh. All right. That's nothing. Go with Formica. Isn't that pretty much what was that ebony substitute they were using? Rich Light. That kind of what Rich Light was, a countertop material. Just like they were getting into what was it called? Coriander? What was there was another counter material they were using for the nut. Formica isn't what Dan Electros are made of. Dan Electros are made of MDF, right? They're made of essentially a pressed particle board. Yeah, Corian. Yeah, they I think they were using that for the nut for like a year or two. And they were gluing them in pretty hard. I know coriander is a spice. It was the closest thing I could think of to the name of the countertop. Pickups do sound really good. Yeah, Richelite is a shredded newspaper, right, with a resin, and the newspaper darkens it up and gives it a texture. It's like a newspaper pulp mixed with a resin. Coriander tastes like soap, so similar to like lavender. Steve, is that blue one on the wall a PRS or a Vola? That is a Vola. It's a Vola TNC, which is a killer guitar. Though I have to say, I have been playing that Aries. I really like the neck on that Aries. It's their most modern neck. And I like the binding. There's something about it. And the real high contrast side dots, like literally black on white. I kind of need that. You can't blend too much. These are half and half. In other words, half of the dot is in the rosewood fretboard and the other half of the dot is in the neck. So I can see half the dot against the dark rosewood, like you can on the front, on the inlays. But half of it sort of just, it's like a sunset. Well, About 20% of people get a soapy taste with coriander, cilantro. I don't. I love cilantro. I couldn't imagine a bowl of chili without some fresh cilantro on top, or a taco without cilantro, or right. It's kind of necessary for the full, Mexican flavor. Do I change presets? Do I use one preset? I change all the time, right? So for the longest time, I was using dual heavy rig. And I moved off a dual heavy rig, and I was using, what's that one? Behave Lead. I was using Behave Lead, which is not a very strong one. And then I found this like Silver Jubilee. I was working on off of that for a little bit. And then I found this Brit 87, which I think has an Ingve pedal. When they captured it, they have like an Ingve overdrive in front of it. I just sort of like really like this one. And so I sort of took the patch I had made with the Silver Jubilee, and I just swapped out the Silver Jubilee for this Brit 87, which I'm pretty sure is a Chop Tones profile. And I really like this one. I think it's very dynamic, right? I think when you're like, you really get you hear how or you can back way off. It's a taste. Yeah, Fake Ebony, aka Pulp Fiction. Nice. I see what you did there. Cilantro, no cilantro is a lot like rosewood versus maple. Exactly. It's a matter of taste. Great pups and a great patch. I agree. I think these are matching well with this particular patch. It's sort of bringing out that all that strattiness, you know. Yeah, you know, again, say what you want about Paul Reed Smith. The guy can make a friggin' pickup. And he's not making these, but he's designing. These are pretty much Duncan designed, right? Are they using the USA pickups in this? I doubt it. I think there's a design, and they're probably being made to spec in Indonesia. That's a great question. Are these actually very much... When I see Duncan designed, I say, you know what, these pickups are going to sound pretty good. Because they usually do. They sound better than the non-Duncan designed. They just do. And I think that's what's kind of going on here. But let's just check the old PRS. All right, hold on here. What do they say? Well, they're calling it a 635 JMS. Is that what they use in the Okay, all right, here you go. Here's your clue. Here's what they say about the PRS 635 JMS. A full, warm, vintage-inspired single coil with a musical high end that is never ice-picky. And I agree. Or brash. Designed to PRS's specifications. There's your clue. Designed to PRS's specifications. So I'm thinking that these are made in-house by who's ever making this guitar. Cort? Is it Cort making these? So Wendell has some information. He says the SE Silver Sky pickups are slightly different design than the USA ones. All right. No, I'm not saying that Seymour Duncan does the pickups for this. What I'm saying is when I see a Duncan designed pickup, I know Duncan didn't make the pickup, much like PRS didn't make these pickups, but they designed them. So it's not just some company saying, let's just try and make a pickup. There's some thought that goes into the making of the pickup. And they have a specification. And it almost always turns out to be better than if it's just some generic pickup. Like you take the Squire generic pickup, it sounds okay, but I do think at the same price point, or maybe just slightly higher if it has the Duncan design pickup, I think it sounds a little better. I think those Duncan designs are, yeah, a little bit. No, a little bit. How much for the one I'm playing? That's a great question. I can give you. I think they're $8.99. Are they $8.99? Hold on. We will find out. PRS Silver Sky SE $8.49. Yeah, right there. $8.49. In the moonlight. Moonlight, diddle-diddle-oo, diddle-diddle-oo. I think Phil McKnight says he's never swapped a Duncan design pickup for the same style of pickup, only for maybe a different style or type. Yeah, they make a decent pickup. I think the first time I tried a Duncan design pickup, it might have been in the, just sing all the way. Check. Yeah, there it is. I feel like it's a little out a little bit. Check. See, there it goes. Check. Yeah. Check. It's getting a little wonky on me here. Check. I'm telling you, I can hear it. I've been using this thing for so long. Someone's here. How about ice cream truck tunes? Do I know any? What's it? Yeah. Something like that, right? Turkey in the Straw. That's what they usually play, right? Yeah, Turkey in the Straw. I'm pretty sure that's it, right? Yeah. I feel like that might have been in the Banana Splits. Right? Nah. And it's like a so bluesy. It's way more bluesy than you think, you know. Yeah, what is ice cream man? Actually, a friend of mine had an ice cream truck when he was younger. And he said it's actually can be pretty rough. He said, you know, you'd make a killing if you could get a permit at like a ballpark and you could go there during like big games. You'd make a killing, you know, at the ballpark and stuff. He said, but a lot of towns were against it. They didn't like you driving around. Neighborhoods didn't want it because they felt like you were exploiting kids and getting like money out. It was like, he said, you know, it was actually a lot harder than you thought. But they could, you know, because you could clean up in a day. He goes, you could really, really do well. Like one big event. He said, but, you know, there's only a handful of those a year. So it was tougher. But, yeah, no, he had an ice cream truck for a few years. And a lot of overhead. He goes, that's why, he goes, what you want to do is you just want to drive it to where you're going and park. He goes, the ones that drive around, he goes, they blow through gas because those things are very, very expensive to drive around. He goes, what you really want to do is go to a place where you can park. You just have a flow of kids all day who just walk over to the ice cream truck. He goes, you're basically a portable ice cream stand. I get singing the same song over and over again. Well, when I was a teenager, there was a kid, older kid. We didn't have our license yet, but he had his license. He was like a couple of years older than us, and he had an ice cream truck. He was selling a lot more than ice cream out of that truck, and he used to drive around with the song. I don't know how he did it, but he somehow got a boombox in there, and he would blare "Ice Cream Man" by Van Halen, like non-freaking stop in that ice cream truck. He didn't last long. He did not last long. we used to have a dude in Rosendale who would come by. It wasn't like an ice cream truck. It was like a goddamn bodega. He would sell us. You could get cigarettes. You could get it was like you walked into a little convenience store. He had sodas and chips and he had ice cream, but that was a very small part of what he had. He was really he was basically a bodega on wheels. And I'll bet I bet half the stuff he sold out of that thing, he was not supposed to sell out of that thing, but he didn't care. That was down in Rosendale. Yeah, that guy. Oh, man. Well, the old guy wouldn't sell weed out of his truck. He wasn't that, but he'd sell rolling papers. He had papers. He had, lighters. He had, alcohol mixers. He didn't sell alcohol, but it'd have a little alcohol mixer in case you had alcohol that you wanted to mix. No. Oh, no. He knew his crowd. Was there a... Yeah, that was Henri. And Cutie's over there. You can't see her, but she's sacked out on the couch. Should have adult ice cream trucks driving around selling margaritas. He didn't have, the guy with the bodega didn't have alcohol, but I'm pretty sure he sold adult magazines. You could get a Playboy or a Penthouse. He had that day's newspapers, and he had that month's. It was always just sort of like men's magazines, and he didn't have them displayed. But he had probably a sign that said "Ask about other magazines." Wink, wink. No, he didn't stock highlights. Yeah, right. Well, it was rough buying food from him, but even back then, the ice cream was packaged. He didn't have an ice cream machine. That's too much work, too much overhead. He wasn't doing anything like that. He just had freezers, and everything was sealed up. It was back in the day when they'd be out there, chip witch for sale. Oh, I'll take a chip witch. Well, the bomb pop was the best. Did he have push-ups too? As a matter of fact, that's one he probably did have. The Nutty Buddy, the push-up, the bomb pop. Those are pretty common. The like the Hoodsie. No, it was not a Mr. Softy truck. No. Only hard ice cream. Yeah, I'm sure he had the creamsicles, yeah. The hell was that? Your just actually on the USDA recall right now, really. And you want to remember, like going on a field trip in like late June, the sun is actually scorching, and it's time, they're taking a break on the field trip to eat your lunch, and you open it up, and your mom wrapped your soda in a piece of aluminum foil, which probably act as even more of a friggin', heat sink to pull the heat in from the outside out of that can. And it would be like the warmest friggin' Coke. It was just the worst. Oh, God. She would insulate it by wrapping it in tin foil. And I'd be like, oh man, that's not a good insulator. I remember in Europe they have those gelato ice creams. The one thing they have in Europe, at least in Germany, that I haven't seen here, and I could see it being sort of a thing, is the spaghetti ice cream. They basically put soft serve through an extruder, so it looks like spaghetti, like in the bowl. And then they put like strawberry or cherry sauce on it, some sort of red sauce, so it looks like marinara. And then they put shaved white chocolate on, so it looks like Parmesan cheese. And a little like Paisil in the corner, so you have something crunchy to go with it. Like a little piece of bread on the side. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, this would be a huge hit in America. I don't understand why has spaghetti ice cream eluded us? I don't. How is this even possible? It was so, when I was getting it, I was like, this is really unbelievable. And then you can get it with like meatballs, which I think those Rocher, I don't even know how to pronounce, they're like a crispy, like rice ball, I think, with chocolate. Right? Is it crispy rice or something like that? I'm not sure. Tom T. Oh, thank you, buddy. Thanks for keeping me entertained on long drives back and forth from my jobs around Florida each week. I know, happy to do so, buddy. Happy to do so. Trying not to trick my taste buds in it. I'm eating cold spaghetti, right? No, it is. It's kind of a bit of a a mind bender. You're looking at it, you're going, I know this looks like spaghetti, but I'm going in. Rocher, yeah. That's it. Rocher. Let me see. There is a small chance I took a picture back when I was at SpiritCon 2. So when was that? That would have been June 2019? Yeah, so there's KitCon. No, not KitCon. TGU 2. All my buddies from that. Hold on, I gotta scroll past this. And, oh my God, my kids are so young. How could they be so young? God, it wasn't that long ago. Okay, now we're in Germany. Oh, there it is. There it is. Hold on. Yeah. That's it. And as I looked at my spaghetti ice cream, I'm like, Why don't we have this in America? What? Why? And you can get it with chocolate sauce. It's like a carbonara, right? He is, right? Yeah, it looks good, right? Right? I mean, come on. Not to get all Jimmy on you. Great question, Steve. AI says Americans are generally less accustomed to desserts that don't look like what they're supposed to taste like. Sounds like us. It looks like spaghetti. Yeah, it's not, though. It's ice cream. No, it looks like spaghetti. No, it looks like spaghetti, but it's not spaghetti. It's actually ice cream. Oh. But it's spaghetti. It's the Homer Simpsonification of America. I'm just saying this guitar sounds good, okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. Vanilla lo mein with an egg roll. Well, you know what? I would be into that. I could see, like, that would be a thing, right? Because you could make up some sort of frozen treat like that. Maybe even with some sort of like a cannoli shell or something, make it look like an egg roll, or some sort of like a pastry, or even a chocolate shell, like something, or a vanilla shell to make it look like an egg roll and fill it with ice cream or other fillings. You know, like the Choco Taco. What a time to be alive. To say that you lived in the time of the Choco Taco. No 60 cycle hum. I'm at position 4. The neck in the middle. The middle and the bridge. The bridge. He went and said a taco or ice cream, and as it melted in his hand, he stared at it. That's a taco. No, wait, that's an ice cream. No, it's a taco. This went on for hours. Do you play any bass? I do, actually. Not a ton of it though. Right now, in fact, I was just thinking about that. I found the parts to a bass I have in a cup. I was looking at it. What the hell is this? Oh my God, those are the bass parts. Oh my God, you took the bass apart. That's the bridge. You gotta finish this job up. Scotch eggs are not a thing in the U.S. No, not really. The closest we get to a Scotch egg is a Snickers ice cream bar. Wah, wah. Yeah, Snickers ice cream bars are addicting. They are, well, they figured out how to make the caramel to stay melted and soft even when it's below freezing, right? That's the big tech there. Because people used to freeze their Snickers, but then everything gets frozen solid and they're kind of tricky to eat. Like people used to freeze Charleston Chews, and they'd freeze Three Musketeers, right? Wasn't that the other big bar? Maybe Milky Way, right? Mainly the M&M's brand, candy Mars brand candy bars. Trying to think of what else. Those are the ones that come to mind. Yeah, Mars, yeah. Mars is the brand behind those. Behind Snickers, Milky Way, Three Musketeers. That's all under the, right, Mars bar. It's all under the Mars brand. I know the Charleston Chew was hard enough to eat not frozen. Oh, I remember like tearing a tooth out on a friggin', like ripping a tooth right out of a molar out on a what was it? A Sugar Daddy. Chewing on a Sugar Daddy. Pulling your jar apart and just ripping a molar right out. Yeah, knees hurt, knew it. Sometimes throw me a bone. Got the sting on my fingers. I've got swollen hands. I never got that, but now I do. I got 13 channels of shit. The TV I choose from. One of the best songs on that album. Such a great friggin' tune. There's anything my mother wouldn't freeze, yeah. Well, you know, in the summertime, it kind of kept things from melting because we didn't have air conditioning. You know, if you bought chocolate bars, you couldn't leave them on the counter. The house was friggin' 90 degrees inside. So, you put them in the refrigerator. Yeah, Goodbye Blue Sky was a great tune. I love that album. It's my favorite Pink Floyd album. Incredibly influential. You know? Waters of Gilmore. Well, I mean, I think it's hard to argue that Gilmore isn't a better singer. I think Gilmour is a better singer, you know, but they've never done quite as well as when they're with Roger Waters. Roger Waters is the, you know, he's like the Sting of the Police. He is like the songwriter, right? He's like the one dude who's writing all those tunes. And that's hard to substitute. That's really, you know, a skill that's not easily transferred. So I think I always give Roger Waters a lot of credit because he just has so many writing credits, right? Those are his tunes, and you got to respect that. So he came up with the tunes. He came up with the. In fact, that one I just played was, I want to say, the last tune on the wall. They felt like the album was a tiny bit short, and they're like, "Could you whip up another 3 minutes?" And he was like, "Well, let me see what I could do." And he actually wrote it on piano. And it wound up being the last track that they added to, right, to get the album so it wouldn't have one really short side. They needed like 3 more minutes. I think you're right, Super Lead. It's the Waters and Gilmour combination that makes Pink Floyd. Just like it's the, when you take Mick Jagger and Keith Richards and put them in solo acts, I mean, they're not bad, but they're not as good as when they're together. Right? Some magic happens when those two guys get together that doesn't quite happen when they're separated. Even the Beatles never quite, you know, I mean, John Lennon and Paul McCartney certainly wrote some great stuff post the Beatles, but they were never quite as amazing as they were when they were together. Right? Telling each other, no, that's not good, or that's really good. Giving each other, right, and little pointers. That's shit. That's good. And working things out. Yeah, same thing with Tyler Perry. There's a lot of groups like that, where there's like 2, sometimes even 3 main dudes. I mean, for U2, it's obviously the guitar player, you know, and the singer, right? It's Bono and The Edge. That's pretty much who's writing all those tunes. Even though you want to talk about the world's greatest gig, right? Adam Clayton. He doesn't write the tunes, doesn't sing back up. The bass lines are relatively easy, and he's got a 25% share. They're one of those bands that does an even split, because the record company tells them, if you don't, one guy's going to get rich, the other guys aren't, and it's going to cause resentment. Right? That's what happened in the Police. Kind of what happened to the Smashing Pumpkins. There's a lot of bands out there. Van Halen was a 4-way split. So, but even then they came after Michael later and said, you know, release some of your rights, which he should have never done. You know, it's like, no. What am I doing that for? Cheap Trick. Cheap Trick is the poster child for one dude being ridiculously more wealthy than the rest of the band, right? The guitar player. Rick. He, you know, Rick Nielsen, he gets those writing royalties. And they said on Stern, because it came up, and Stern was like, so, like, is Rick wealthier? And you heard Rob and Xander go, a lot richer. Like, whoa. Right? Because that was a thing where he was getting the right. It wasn't split 4 ways. It wasn't like Words and Music by Cheap Trick. It was Words and Music by Rick Nielsen. Or Rick Nielsen and Robin Zander. And so the rest of the guys become, over time, as 1 or 2 guys in the band get like super wealthy, they're pulling in a much bigger, it's so funny because, you know, in other countries, in like Europe or whatever, there's a mechanical royalty where if you play on something, you get a performance royalty. They don't have those in America. It's only writing, right? And there might be a mechanical, but there's no performance royalty. It's kind of odd. I love that Peterson 12-string bass. And you know what? It goes a big way into making that band as what's really a three-piece, right, with a singer. I mean, occasionally Robin Zander will come out and, you know, and play guitar. But, you know, usually it's really a three-piece. It fills it up. It really does fill up the sound, that 12-string bass. I told you, I went to a Roland party in 2018. You know? And I walk in the door, and there's Rick Nielsen talking with Jeff Skunk Baxter, like against the wall. And I was like, okay. And Tom Peterson walks out of the back. Larry Carlton's after him. I was like, this is interesting. But then I got in the back room and I saw my buddy Davi Das, and pretty much hung out with him. And Joe Morgan from Morgan Amps. And who else was there? Tyler from Music Is Win. Yeah, Sting, right, he probably gets a big royalty. What's that woman who wrote Lifetime of Earnings? It's been sampled so many times. She gets so many royalties from that one melody. Just unbelievable. Dee Snider was on somewhere recently, and they said, like, so did you really just make all your money from Twisted Sister? He goes, not Twisted Sister, 2 songs. It's 2 songs. It's We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock. He goes, we sell that over and over and over again. Yeah, no, those 2 songs have given me a lifetime of earnings. Yeah, Suzanne Vega. Yeah, she like cleaned up on that friggin' melody. She totally cleaned, because they sold it over and over. You know, she licensed it. And she, at one point, it was something like, had been used in like 200 different songs or something like that. What's up, Tactical? Queen just made over $1 billion, so they sold their catalog. That's what all the rage is right now, is because the clock is ticking, and so is the clock ticking on their life. So they're like, let's cash out now, and be able to set up, you know, trust funds, and, you know, whatever, keep that right. Because eventually, first of all, artists have a hard time licensing their own music because they have feelings about it. People that buy catalogs have no such feelings. You know what feelings they have? I gotta make my money back on this friggin' catalog that I just laid out all this money for. So they have a strategy in place to license that music, mostly commercially, for advertising, and starting to get some of their money back. Licensing it to movies, you know, whatever else they can license it to, wherever they can get their cash from. So, damn, I need to write a catchy tune, right? Yeah. I will say this, so everyone knows about, like, the Huck Tua girl, right? She sort of blew up in the last couple of weeks on the internet, right? The latest viral sensation. And I saw a dude, it just somehow came up in my feed. He wrote a country song, the Huck Tua, like the Huck 2 friggin' like a country tune that pays homage to the girl in the video. And it was really well done. I said, holy shit, you know, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work to do this. It's like, and it's pretty well written. He's got like a minor chord, like pre-chorus, building into a big chorus and then a big break to do the big line. It's a big parody of the video, and clever lyrics about blowing and all this stuff. The winds were blowing or whatever, right? So it's like it's all a big goof, and down in the description it said made with music by some music AI company, lyrics by me. I was like, what? He basically plugged those lyrics into an AI song generator and generated that song. I was like, this song is kind of banging. This song is actually, it could be on any country station. Now, granted, the lyrics would get them cut because there's a lot of swears in it and it's a very risque song. But from a production standpoint, from a songwriting standpoint, the formula for writing a country pop song, holy shit, they nail it. It is so friggin' good. I'm like, this should have you worried. If you're writing songs for a living, that should have you a little worried. It was all too easy for that guy to plug in some clever lyrics. Right now, the future of music is going to be the guy who can write the best input string. What do we got? That was... Cutie still asleep, so it's got to be someone up. Oh, they must have jumped out. Had to be Henry. I tell you, AI can come up with some bangers. It was shocking how good it was. I was like, wow. Because as I'm listening to it, I said, first of all, this guy is good. The vocals are good. They got the backgrounds, multiple backgrounds. This big country sound, and the whole thing was just so friggin' good. And I was like, I can't believe AI wrote this song. This is, and it was all done in AI from start to finish. All this dude did was plug in the lyrics and then go through enough iterations until he found the one he liked. Unbelievable. We didn't talk about the Les Paul. Let's talk about that real quick. Where did let me get rid of the photo of the, do I have a... Let me just see if I can go straight there. Oh, well. Yeah. Yep, hold on. Just give me a second. I'm fighting cookie notices. We'll put down a few cookies. Yeah, sure, why not? There it is in all its glory. The new Jeff Beck Les Paul. There's photos of him playing, a guitar like this. It's a collectible, obviously at $10,000. This is for somebody buying it to be a collectible. It's a nice guitar. It's got the distinctive pickups and pickguard like Jeff used. No, poker chip around there. I mean, it's a replica of his. Do they have a picture of it? They have a picture of him playing it? No. No pictures of him playing it? Huh. They're calling it a yard burst? Hold on. Let me... Do we have a picture of it? I wish I had a better picture of him actually playing it. This is what they're... There you go. Oh, yeah. That's what it is. I'm hitting it with my foot. This is a pic I just found. You know, not really a good shot of the front of the guitar. I was hoping to find a better pic of the front. But, anyway. I would say the only controversy about this particular guitar is the color of the pickups. Which, what are they calling? Did they even mention it? White bobbin. Are they white, though? Are they white bobbins? Feels a little off-white. Some might say cream. And if that's, you know, the case... Now, granted, this is a very limited edition, so I doubt there'll be much coming from this. But if this was a regular production guitar, I wouldn't doubt if DiMarzio raised a little stink about it, because they do own the trademark. And that trademark has been around for 40 years. And they got incontestability. So, at this point, even if the mark is, you know, argued to be weak, they'll say, well, you should have made your argument 35 years ago. They got the mark 40 years ago and incontestability 35 years ago. So, yeah. It's kind of over. It's over. In fact, maybe even longer that they got that. No, about 40 years. That sounds about right. Someone recently, a couple years ago, within the last 2 years, sued to get the trademark invalidated. And they lost. Trademark. It never even got to the merits because they basically were looking to get a gotcha moment with Larry DiMarzio. It didn't happen, and they withdrew their lawsuit. Because when they withdrew their lawsuit, they didn't get the approval of DiMarzio. It was dismissed with prejudice, which basically means he can never bring the suit again. It's as if they had gone to trial and lost. So there's not a good track record going after DiMarzio and getting that trademark invalidated. The trademark doesn't apply to single coils, which is why you see cream single coils. It doesn't apply to P90s, which is why you see cream P90s. It doesn't apply to blades, which is why, like, Bill Lawrence has the cream blade pickups. What it applies to is two bobbins with pole pieces in this exact configuration. So there probably is some room for DiMarzio to go, whoa, 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 dude. I thought you were all against the whole IP stealing thing. Yeah, Seymour Duncan has his telly. Which it sounds like, if you've ever heard, an interview, Jeff Beck has talked about that guitar a few times, but in at least one or two interviews, he says, I do the trade, and then I realize, wow, the guitar that I used on these famous albums that were on these famous songs just walked out the door. Right, maybe I should have held on to it. Well, you could say it's a bullshit trademark, but the time to raise a stink about it is long past. There was a company called Park and Fly, and they had parking lots near airports. So you would park, and then you would fly. Park and Fly. So somebody wanted to call themselves like, Joey Jojo Shabadoo's Park and Fly. And they got a cease and desist saying, no, we own Park and Fly. And they said, you can't own Park and Fly. It's literally descriptive of exactly what you're doing. You're parking and then flying. That's a descriptive thing. You can't take that. And they tried to overturn it. But the people that got Park and Fly, it already got incontestability. And so when it finally got to the court, they were like, yeah, well, you had a chance. We agree. It is descriptive. But they went through all the steps to get it on the register, including being on the supplemental register, for 5 years to gain distinction, and then to go on the regular register, and then 5 years after that, get incontestability. So you had 10 years to raise a stink, and you never did it. Right? When you were on the supplemental register, you could have said something, but you didn't. So now all these years have passed, and they've got on the principal register, and they have incontestability, which is just a form you file for a couple extra bucks. And now you're incontestable. And they said, well, if incontestability can mean anything, this is the exact situation where someone has a weak mark, but they protect it by going through incontestability. And you've sort of waived your right to bitch about it by not bitching about it sooner. They say classic white bobbins, never do they say cream. Yeah, sure. Just like that swoosh on the side of mine is not a Nike swoosh. It's a Nike. There. See? It's not Nike. It's Nake. It's Nike. See? Just like that. Boom. You think that's going to hold up? Reasonable likelihood of confusion. No matter what you call it. Call it Joey Jojo Shabadoo's pickup color. And they're like, well, anyway, Joey Jojo looks a lot like this cream. And there's a reasonable likelihood of confusion. Yeah, you lose. You get nothing. So there was a guy recently who sued them. He literally wrote out his complaint on like a sheet of like lined paper. I am a guitar player and I like my pickup rings to match my pickups. But my pickups can't match my pickup rings because I can't get cream to match my pickup rings. And therefore I'm hurt and their trademark hurts me. Yeah, you can't put a Nike swoosh on the side of your sneakers either. That's what a trademark is to exclude you from stealing their stuff. And they're like, yeah, but it's like, well, maybe the Nike swoosh would look better than the stupid Adidas stripes. Maybe Adidas should just take it and say, well, it looks better. That was kind of his argument. Yeah, well, my pickups don't match. And you know what the court did? They dismissed his case for failure to state a claim. They basically said, yeah, failure to state a claim is basically the court's way of saying, so, and, right? My pickup rings don't match my pickups. So, and, well, I want him to lose his trademark. Yeah, that's not the way the world works. Exactly. It's not a Nike swoosh. It's a short crowbar. Calm down. So it's very different. See, my company's called Nike, not Nike. Very different. And I don't have a swoosh. I have a swish. Please. Come on. Very, very different. See how long that goes. Well, you can't trade something generic, let alone a color. You can always trade a distinctive color. That's actually gone to court many times. Costco had a brand that had a color that looked an awful lot like Tiffany. Didn't say Tiffany, said the other brand, but when people looked at it in the case, they said, oh, is that Tiffany? No, it's not Tiffany. But people, they were basically took that Tiffany green, which has a Pantone number, by the way. They take it very seriously. That color is cataloged. And they basically said, well, you can't trademark a color. And the court said, oh, no, they can. And they have a trademark, and you're violating it. You're infringing upon it. Only Corning can make, Owens Corning is the only company that can make pink insulation. Right? That's their trademark color. Everyone else has to make yellow insulation or some other color, blue. You can't use pink. There were two cases that push back on it, though. And the cases are almost always the same. It's an extreme. It's a very simplistic color. Both of the cases involve black, right? So one of them was Mercury engines, right? So Johnson, that had white motors, they're probably the same friggin' company now, and Mercury, which had black motors out the back of your boat. And they tried to trademark black engines as a trademark. And they were contested. They never got the mark. And it made it all the way up. I forget if it was the Supreme Court, but it certainly made it to the appellate court. And they basically said, if they had gone with Mercury black, where they had described in detail how it had like gold and blue flakes of metal in it, right? And it had like this metallic look. If they had given us that description, we probably would have allowed it. And we gave them an opportunity to give us that description, but they refused. They just said black. They were sticking with black, and we're not doing it. You're not just taking black. There's only so many colors that work on a boat. Black and white and whatever. You're not getting it. It's just not going to happen. Those are probably the two colors you can never get, black and white. It's got to be some other color on the color scheme. And another one was a company that sold flowers, of all things. They tried to get black tissue paper. You know when you buy flowers and they show up in a box and they're wrapped in tissue? They wanted to have signature black wrapping paper, black tissue paper. And they tried to get it. And people, the florists came out in droves to say, no, we use black paper all the time. We use it for funerals. We use it for like a chic or like a high-end, like a posh look mixed with gold and roses. They're like, absolutely not. We use black paper all the time. And the court agreed. They're like, if you want a distinctive paper, come up with some distinctive color that's easily avoided by everyone else and we'll do it. But you can't just take black or white, or any of these sort of like generic colors. You can't just like tie the industry up, which is why DiMarzio has survived. If DiMarzio was black, you lose. If DiMarzio pickups are white, you lose. DiMarzio pickups are cream, off-white, more distinctive. And no one contested it. So between being somewhat distinctive and no one ever contesting it, that's not going anywhere. The famous Apple court case, the Beatles versus Apple, yeah. And Apple versus Microsoft. You're like, you stole the interface we stole from Xerox. Wait, we're stealing that interface. You can't steal that. You can't steal a mouse in Windows. We stole that from Xerox PARC. And they're like, what? The court shut that shit right down too. Before I forget, I did want to mention the Halo Core. You can't buy it; it's out of stock. They blew right out of the stock. They only made 300, and they blew right through it. It's a stereo in, stereo out, multi-effect reverb and delay. And if you've ever heard Andy Timmons play through his Halo, it does sound pretty amazing. It's a really good sounding pedal. And I love Robert Keeley. He's like the best dude. Hung out with him in Germany at the first GitCon, and I saw him again a couple of years later at Summer NAMM, and he was just so nice and so inviting, you know, just the best guy. So I always like to support Robert. There was one other thing that I forgot. Was it the JHS? Yeah. Oh, I hate this stupid... Chrome's put this stupid sidebar in that I can't stand. This is the new JHS Modern Distortion. There's a ton of videos out there demoing it. I would say living room gear demos. Who's a guy I've met at, a couple of the events now. Certainly the Henning event and probably maybe the second TGU, maybe? I forget now. Anyway, he's got a really good demo. What I liked about it is I actually remember computers like this. I remember when I was teaching computers, you know, some of the teachers had the portable, that's probably supposed to be an Osborne, but what it really reminds me of is the old Compaq. Right, that's what before laptops, that's what a portable computer looked like. It was basically a desktop machine with a little screen and a front port for the keyboard, and may not even had a mouse, depends. But I laughed my ass off when I saw that. In fact, I remember when I was teaching, this woman there, I would have to carry this out to her car because it was so friggin' heavy. She couldn't friggin' lift it. I was like, I got it, I'll carry it out. Yeah, it looks like an oscilloscope, I agree. Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, without a doubt. Compaq, now that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. Yeah, let me... Compaq. Portable. Yeah. There you go, kid. That was it. I swear to God, this was the exact one she had, or something like this, right? This friggin' thing. Ah. Yep. Compaq portable too. Little monochrome screen. Oh yeah. You're like 1983. How much was that? $2,700. What? Yeah, the equivalent of like $18,000 today. Oh wait, dude, it was so heavy. That's why I had to carry it out to her car. She couldn't lift it. You know? Yeah, reminds you of a Tandy. Yeah, no, I agree. Absolutely. Very Tandy-like. Without a doubt. Yeah. And what's so funny is that Compaq got going because they were one of the first companies to move off of IBM DOS and move to MS-DOS and license MS-DOS directly. They were one of the first, quote-unquote, IBM-compatible machines. And started a whole clone industry. They pretty much drove IBM out of the desktop. Then they were doing the servers. What was their big server? The 400? What was the IBM server? Something 400? Looked like a small fridge. PRS 80, yeah, we never had one of those. Thank you, Chuck. The AS400. Yeah, I remember being at like, geez, where would that have been? I can't even think. They had AS400s like every 10 feet in the freaking hallway everywhere. Big air conditioners running to cool down. That place was crazy. Yeah, the AS400. That was it. I think DOS 4 just went public domain. What's up, Benjamin from New Zealand? Such a great tune. Yeah, it's like the 1 to the 7 to the 1. You know, the flat 3 to the 7 to the 1 to the flat 7 to the 1. The funny thing is that I saw a book and they were like, they were playing it up here. I'm like, there's no way. You can hear the open string. I was installing DOS 4.0. I remember when DOS 4.0 came out, because I think I was using like 3.2 or 3.3, which my college professor gave to me. Because he says, what are you running for DOS? And I was like, I don't know, like 2 something. He goes, no, I'll give you 3. I got like 3.2, 3.3. I remember when 4 came out. I remember when 5 came out. And I remember going to, where did I go? I went to CompUSA. CompUSA? No, what was the other one? CompUSA in Computer City. Is it Computer City? I remember going to Computer City and getting MS-DOS 6. Remember when 6 came out, I went out and got that. No, it wasn't Circuit City. It was like Computer City. That was like early 80s when 3 came out. Yeah, I remember when DOS 1 came out. A buddy of mine was working, and it was pretty much a fail. 2 came out, it was kind of a fail. And then 3 came out, and a buddy of mine was working, and 3 was just sort of okay. It was really 3.2, 3.1, 3.2 that really settled in. 3.1, I think. Not CompUSA. Yeah, Computer City. Yeah, thank you, Marlo. No, there was a place called Computer City. It went under pretty quickly. I don't think it lasted but a few years. Place you could go down and buy the latest Creative Labs Sound Blaster. What's up, Manfred? Was there a computer town? You know, there could have been, but it was probably a smaller place. You know, like Memory Lock. There was a place called Memlock. Yeah, right, sound cards. Hold on, let me set my IRQs and DMAs. IRQs you had to set, right? And your, was it your DOS INI file? What was it? Sys INI? Right, boot INI? I haven't done it in so long, I forget the name of the file. It was some INI file. Yeah, the old INI files, right? Boot.ini. I think you're right. I think it's boot.ini. Hey, what's up in the blues? Well, you're lucky. I happen to have a blues guitar. Have you tried one of these, Shane? An FC Silver Sky? I like the pickups in it. I think they sound pretty good. How's Flamey McFlameface doing? I think it was Boudini. Not until November. They never made a lefty? Oh, that's a shame. Flamey is great. You loving it? Good. Just checking in. Any good sales this 4th of July break? I haven't really seen any. The next big sale coming up is like Amazon Prime, but I don't know if there's any guitar sales going on right now. Yeah, Set Blaster was done on the AutoExec.bat. Maybe that's what I'm thinking, the AutoExec.bat, and not the Boudini. Might be right on that. The batch file, right? AutoExec.bat. Good call. Might be right on that. That's how you would set your... have to go in there and like hand write the friggin' crap if it didn't work. No, I think you might be right. Oh God, AutoExec.bat, yeah. I read the Silver Sky was made because Fender wouldn't make John Mayer a modern Strat, so he jumped ship to PRS. That's not what I heard. I heard a much more likely story, and that is his contact from Fender left. Right? He was like, he had a relationship with one person who like left the business, left Fender, maybe retired or something, and never quite connected with the new people and wound up just going to PRS. And got to remember that these guys get paid. Right? He makes not just money from the sale, but they usually get a general endorsement fee too. So, you know, maybe he just got, just like Paul Stanley. Why is he moving from guitar company to guitar company? Because he's getting a better deal. Instead of $100,000 a year, we'll pay you $150,000 a year. Okay, well, let's do that. Right? Is that what it was? Yeah, let his artist rep go. And then he was probably livid that the guy was out of a job. Right? I don't think, yeah, I might be getting paid in exposure. Yeah, right. And he's like, well, I don't really need exposure, so you know. How many guitars am I selling for you? Yeah, okay. I can tell you, you're selling 0 albums for me. So, well, most artists get a fee just to be like, just like how Hollywood puts actors on retainer. They get a fee to be exclusive, right? And that can range from $10,000 to friggin' hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. And they get a percentage of every guitar sold. I think most artists get paid under $100,000. You would have to be top flight, I think, to get paid more than that. And you would have to commit to being like the spokesperson for the brand, sort of a brand ambassador. But, you know, it's a living. Yeah, right, a bigger, better deal. Is Mayer's name anywhere on this SE? That is a great question. Yeah, it's on the back. So on the back on the plate it says SE Silver Sky, John Mayer model, and then it has John Mayer's signature. Nothing on the headstock. And this just says Paul Reed Smith SE. There's nothing about Mayer. So it's only on the back. It's only on the yeah, right there. Waiting on the Vola SFB SIG. I tell you, it might have to be an Aries. I've been digging that Aries. What are the frets like on this? I would say standard, like Fender frets. Is that like a medium tall or a medium? I wouldn't call these jumbo frets at all, and they're certainly not small vintage frets either. Sort of standard stuff. Right, the Steve edition. So you're looking for a T style, but you don't want a telly? You still want to get just a regular straight up telly and not like another brand? How light is the guitar? This guitar is not super heavy, but it's not super light either. If I had to guess, I'd put this in the between 7 and 8 pounds. If I had to guess. Maybe it's a poplar body. Maybe it could be over 8, but I doubt it. I'm thinking it's in the 7s. You don't know whether to get an actual Fender or something like a Sir Andy Wood. Sure. Right. It's certainly going to be a well-made guitar. The Sirs make nice stuff. You'll certainly save a few bucks by getting the Fender brand. You know. If I started any summer projects outdoors, the fence or the porch, I haven't. I did the back porch last year. I did the front steps last year. What really needs to be done is that corner of the outside porch. It's on my to-do list. Gotta get it. You know what I did get, though, was I got a 26-foot telescoping pressure washing wand that has at the end you can put different shapes on it. It can go straight, it can go slight, it can go like this, or it can curve over. But it's not quite curved like this, it's more like that. So you can come out at it at an angle and get down. And I'll tell you, I went out there and I was really, I mean, it was, I put in like the strongest fan one, and it seemed to work, but not really. It was sort of spraying a lot of water back up again, even though I'm sure I was there. So I switched it to the one that's sort of like a needle, right? It's the highest pressure one, the red one. I put that up there, and that eventually sort of broke through. It just ate away at it enough to break through. And there was a big blurb of, rotten leaves on my roof. I had to go up to the bathroom, look out the window to see like what it had blurped out onto the roof, and it totally did it. And we got a huge rainstorm like later that day, like late afternoon. A big rainstorm blew in, and it was pouring out. And I looked out there, and the water was flowing right out. It wasn't coming down like a waterfall and beating the piss out of my roof. That's what I'm worried about. It's when water comes down like a waterfall, it's so much force, you can't underestimate just how much of that will just like literally eat right through that frig. It cannot take that. Over time, you will like literally carve a hole. I did start cleaning out. I forgot how much debris I had thrown around the back of the garage. I have a strip there that's about, 3 feet wide by 20 feet long, 25 feet long. And I started clearing it out, and I was like, oh, God, it looks like there's a fence rolled up under the dirt. Let me try and rip that out. There was a tarp under there from like when they painted the house in 2005. Ripped that out. I had to like literally get a come along, the a ratcheting winch, and to pull it out of the ground. It was so friggin' tight. I got it out though, and there's a screen out there under the ground I can see partially out. I have to get something on it and see if I can winch that out. And rocks, giant friggin' boulders that I forgot I had thrown back there. And my God, those are so heavy. I'm like, how did I even get these back here? I got them out little by little, and then I have to sort of grade that ground there, and then I can put the fence in. I got to sort of clean up the whole ground around it. I can rip it all up, put a fence in. Have a good one, Manfred. Thanks for hanging out. 10 minutes. Wow. I feel like tonight sort of flew by. I have not tried a chord. Did I at NAMM? Is it a recent guitar? Because I feel like I tried some chords at one of the NAMM shows, maybe the 2019 NAMM show, something like that. You have a pole saw that's like 22 feet, yeah. I actually have a pole saw that's not electric or anything. It's just a regular one, 26-footer. And that's what the, I'm pretty sure that's what they said the other wand is too, 26 feet. That thing's heavy once you extend it, let me tell you. They have a harness you're supposed to wear. You're supposed to buckle it, but I don't wear that thing. I just hold it. I got it. I got this. I know, story of my life. I'll deal with this later. And then, oh, wow, what do you know? It's later, and these boulders are a lot heavier than they were 10 years ago. Are you up later? Probably not. I was up really early this morning. Yesterday was so crispy nice out. Anyone who lives in the Boston area knows what I'm talking about. The dew point was like 38. I mean, talk about crisp, just gorgeous. And for shits and giggles, I took my wife's car to see if I could get a sticker to a dude I know, a friend of mine. And he was like, I can't. He goes, it's just too torn up. He goes, if they see this and they see that I put a sticker on, he's like, I can't. I said, all right, I don't want to put you on the spot. That's fine. But it was freaking gorgeous yesterday. So, had all the windows open, had the AC off. It was breezy. It was so nice. Then overnight, we sort of went from 38 to like 54, 55. And it sort of backed off a little bit down. Once it gets below 50, I'm fine. 48, 47, that's fine. But now it's back up. It's probably almost to 60. It's going to get super muggy, and then clear back out again for, I think, Monday or Tuesday. Yeah. Here comes the rain too. Yeah, dew point is 66. What a difference! Like 30 points in a day. Like yesterday was like 36, and today's like 66. It's like going from the desert to the jungle. Using the trailer to haul yet? Just leaves and branches, like tree branches. I took down a lot of tree branches last year. Brought those all up with I did all of my leaves last year with it. It all worked out great. I did a bunch over the winter and had it going, and I can just cover it with a tarp and keep it nice and dry and take them up and get rid of them in the spring. So things been great. One thing I got to do is I got to finish the painting. I started the painting. I only had 1 gallon of paint. I sort of ran out of paint for the wood, and I got to buy another gallon. Just saying. If Zakk Wylde were still alive today, he'd probably be playing a Silver Sky. How much for a gallon of paint? Well, it depends. You can get a gallon of paint for under $30. You can get one for like $25, $28. But I bought like this super, like Rhino Shield, extra tough, like gloop glop shit that cost me like $48. It's a lot more expensive. And I had it made up with a custom color, which I don't think costs anymore. Bent Tom, it's a little joke I've had running for a little while. It starts off like if Hendrix was still alive, he'd probably be playing this Vola. And then that turns into, well, if Jimmy Page was still alive, and people are screaming, he's not dead. No, it's been a bit of a joke. We've been goofing on. You just throw someone in who's not dead. If Randy was still alive today, he'd probably be playing a Silver Sky, or Zakk Wylde. You all like, Zakk Wylde is dead. Oh, man. Have a good one, Ben. Thanks for hanging out. Exactly. If Slash was still alive today, he'd be playing a Dan Electro. Don't you know Slash isn't real? You get like $45 worth of nitro under your fingernails. There you go. Exactly. If John Mayer were alive today, he'd probably be playing a Silver Sky. I'm going to start, my new AI and call it Steve AI. Like Steve Vai. It's not Steve Vai, it's Steve AI. You get sued. Maybe. Yeah, Steve V. I heard, I think we might have mentioned this. I heard that Buckethead dropped the singer. That no longer appearing at the shows. I don't know if he dropped the band, which was nice, but she was pretty bad. In fact, I played a bit of it for a friend of mine who's a musician, and he as soon as he heard it, he goes, "Oh my, she's tone deaf." He goes, "It's not like she's a really good singer, and I mean like a bad singer, but she's like in the zone, but just doesn't have a good quality of voice." He's like, "She's just like way out." He goes, "She's like tone deaf." I said, "I know, it's." He's letting the drummer sing songs like War Pigs. Oh, I'll have to check out some recent footage. I didn't know that. Thanks for tipping me off on that. I'll check it out because she tried to do War Pigs, and it went about as good as it went about as well as her other tunes, which was not particularly good. Jesse's Girl was the other one. I had to think of it for a second there. Yeah. All right, dudes, it is 9 o'clock. It's time for me to wrap it up. Mondays, we have a very special episode this Monday of the Guitar of the Week. So, yeah, War Pigs sounded like it was sung by real pigs. Yeah. Yeah, her version of War Pigs was, let's just say, lacking. It was, it was severely out of tune. That was what killed us. Thanks for having us over, dude. Anytime, Larry. Yeah, what pogs. Anyway, I will have a new Guitar of the Week on Monday. Very special episode of Guitar of the Week this Monday. Be sure to catch that. And I have, what some might call the hottest guitar out there right now. Just saying. And I will have that Monday for everyone to see. And there you go. Super thanks to everyone for hanging out. Super extra special thanks to anyone who contributed. That's always appreciated. And of course, Brofist to my mod squad. Hashtag Brofist, hashtag mod squad. Haven't seen Ben Coombs for a while. I hope he's okay. I haven't seen Coombs in a little bit. And, just hope everything's. Oh, he's probably fine. Everything's just fine. He's just busy, but I hope he's okay. And there you have it. And in the blues, big shout out to you, my man, my bro. The Thunder from Down Under. Let's just go with that. I just made that up. Oh, that was something up there. Is that you? Oh, that's fireworks. That's why she's running. I was lighting off fire. I was like, what the hell was that? Fireworks. So there's some fireworks going on up there. All right, dudes. Have a wonderful 4th of July. Try not to blow your hand off. If you can, hold it in the right hand, not the left. I'm just saying, unless you're a lefty, then switch. You're gonna need all those digits. And yeah, check out. I know. You know what? In the blues, I got to make it down your way someday. I just got to get on a plane for 22 hours and make my way over there. Coombs has been about. I haven't seen him in a little bit, so everything. As long as he's okay, then that's all I care about. Make sure he's fine. He's probably just busy. I haven't seen him in a little bit. But yeah, you got another hand. It's all good. You're fine. How many hands do you need? Unless you want to clap, then you probably need to. Well, the point is, but yeah, everyone have a great 4th. And you know, it's mainly a barbecue around here. Just, you know, get some smoked meats. Oh yeah, there goes some more fireworks. And there you go. Oh yeah, no, someone's got some. That was pretty big. Someone's got some stuff going out there. All right, dudes. Have a wonderful week. Check out Guitar of the Week on Monday. There you have it. All right, dudes. No. You rock. All right. Later.